Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about how we can get more attractive as we get older. And we have to remember that we are energetic beings, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and there's many things that we can do to our 3D body to be more attractive as we get older, and to our spiritual body to become more attractive as we get older. So of course, you are not going to look the same as you get older as you are when you're younger. We're going to lose certain things, but we can also gain certain things. So we can end up still, we aren't all about looks, what your skin looks like. That isn't the only thing that's attractive. And I know people like to put women in that box, but it's the same for women and it's the same for men, in my opinion. And there's many things that we can gain as we get older as well. So you want to keep on balancing that scale, and then you can actually be a more attractive overall package, older, as you were when you were younger. As long as you do something to evolve and to grow and to become better as you move forwards. Now, obviously, this is going by very 3D standards, because I actually do believe we have the ability to rejuvenate. I believe we have the ability to live for as long as we want. I believe we have the ability to youthify ourselves, actually. And I think that as we manifest and go forwards, this could come through scientific breakthroughs, which are kind of almost at an exponential rate at this point. If they can extend your youth for another 40 years, that gives time for them to work on more stuff, and it's exponential in that way. But also just energetically and manifesting, there's so many more people into manifesting and subliminals and health and working on youthifying themselves. And once that becomes more standard, it will feel more achievable for all of us, and we'll all be able to tap into that as a collective and do it together. So I would just like to kind of put as a caveat to the beginning of this video that I don't actually believe that we have to age as humans, and I do believe that we can regenerate and youthify. And I also think it's really, really important in the way you speak as well. And I did hear one woman say that whenever she gains another year, she doesn't lie about her age, she doesn't hide it, but rather than saying, oh, I'm 39 years old now, I'm 48 years old now, she'll be like, oh, I'm 38 years young, I'm 48 years young. And it's a perception shift, and what you think you are, what you feel you are. So it's important to try and go against society always trying to make us feel old and feel like we're getting older, and to try and switch that and say, no, I feel younger, I'm this young. But let's just stick to purely, let's just take that out of the equation at the moment and say that we're going to get less attractive as we get older by physical societal standards. Let's just say that and put that out there, right? That's one thing that you're losing a little bit of, but there's so many things that you can gain and get more of. So, and if you're not doing these things, then you're only losing. If you just get older and you just get bitter and you don't work on yourself and you don't do things to improve yourself, then you're just an older version that's lost some of that, and you're just bitter and you're not any more grown in other areas. Whereas if you think, well, maybe I'll lose a bit of that, but hey, there's this whole area of things that I can actually get better and grow in, then you're going to continue being attractive, because you've got attractive qualities that the younger people possibly don't have. And they only have this one thing that they might look a bit hotter than you, but they don't have all these other things which do matter for both men and women when they actually want to connect and have a proper deep connection with somebody. So for example, there's many things that you can do this with. There's emotional and spiritual growth. This is so important. If you have a conversation with somebody and they're fascinating and they're on your wavelength and they get you and they connect to you and they have a level of intelligence that you find fascinating, that suddenly puts them way above this person, which might look kind of hotter, but then after about 10 minutes, you're so bored, you just want to get away. You're going to naturally gravitate to this person, right? And that's the same with spiritual and emotional development. If you're spiritual, you're going to want to connect to somebody else that's as deep on the spiritual path as you. emotional, you know, it's going to suddenly become really apparent when somebody is emotionally connected and grown, when you're not jealous, you don't fly off the handle. Like, think about when you've done a lot of work on yourself, how different you are than before you started. I know for me, I used to be really jealous. I used to be really insecure. I used to have a lot of self-hatred. So yes, maybe on paper I looked a little bit hotter, but I was such a mess inside that after an immediate maybe reaction of oh, that person's hot, I'm just going to be off-putting because I'm insecure, I didn't love myself, I would be jealous, I just wouldn't have that groundedness that I have now that makes you more attractive. Whatever people say, men might look at someone hot, but they don't want to get into relationships with people. That is so funny. I'm going to leave this on because I started making this video, and in the UK we're getting this alert where it's some emergency ringing alert that we have to have as a test run on our phone, which don't even get me started on that. I'll maybe do another video on that one, but I'm going to stick to this topic for now. But that is kind of weird that I didn't actually know what time it was going to hit, and it came right in the middle of my video and cut it off. So I'll rejoin in now. I don't know if anyone else is in the UK, but yeah, we got these new alerts that they're trying to sneak onto our phones. I kept mine on. I know some people turned it off, but I'm kind of intrigued. I want to see what it's about for a bit. So anyways, as I've grown, I've become more spiritually and emotionally evolved, and that is attractive. And whatever men might say that they go for looks or whatever, we're all aware of looks. We all know when somebody's kind of walks in the room and they really, really physically attractive, but that does not make you want to have a relationship with them. And it is the same as men as it is for women. You know, everybody just wants a partner that they can connect to, they can have a laugh with. That's a best friend, you know, that's the best kind of partner you want. So if somebody's only hot but they don't have any of these other things, then you are going to shine the light away from them at gathering, because they might go talk to that person for a few minutes, they'll get bored, and then they'll be like, wow, this person's interesting, exciting, they love themselves, they're emotionally secure, and you're just going to be a shining light. And when you evolve energetically as well, you have a radiance and a glow that when you walk in a room is attractive. And it's not a physical thing, it's just a glow and an energy that will be attractive to people, and they'll instinctively want to come over to you and find out more. And then on top of that, we've got the body. You know, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you can't be the fittest you've been in your life. I mean, maybe if you're an athletic gold medal winner, okay, as you get into your like 50s and 60s, you might decline. But for the majority of people, we can actually get fitter and stronger as we get older, and that can continue for quite a long time. You know, I've seen people winning weightlifting championships in their sort of 80s and above, sure, for older groups, but those people were not that strong when they were younger. So there's always things that you can do to improve. You can make your diet healthier. You can, strip away even more so you have the best, diet that you possibly can. You can keep ahead of things and research supplements that are going to help you and things that are going to, give you more energy and make you feel more young, more youthful. So I think that we just end up and in life, it can be very easy to try and grab onto and miss and cry over the things that you're losing in life. And we have a habit of doing that rather than saying, okay, well, maybe I have a bit less of this, but I can have so much more of all these things now that I'm getting older and I'm getting wiser. And just because I'm losing a little bit of that, I can still, I've still got all these options of things that I can grow in. I can become more talented. I actually missed that one. I can be more talented, more skillful. Like, how attractive is it when you talk to somebody and they are really talented or they've really honed their skill? Very attractive, way more attractive than somebody that just walks in and is really hot and is an airhead. Like, way more attractive. I mean, to most people anyways. It's certainly anyone that wants a proper spiritual relationship connection and not just, a one night stand or whatever. And the other thing, you know, is success and money. Like, whilst I don't think we should chase money, and I don't think money in itself is important, when you're successful and you've built something and you've achieved something, however small, as long as it's something you're passionate about and you're connected to, that's attractive too. And it gives you stuff to talk about, and it gives you stuff to be passionate about in life. And that is going to overall be so much more attractive. And yeah, just I feel we often cry about things that we're losing, and we could become so focused in what we're losing, we forget about how much we're gaining. And then what happens is you just get older, more bitter, and trying to like hang on to the one thing you're losing with tons of facial surgeries. And, you know, that's how people go down that path. They think that their only value is being young and beautiful. So rather than explore all these other avenues that they could get better at, they just try to hold on to that one thing and then it always ends up looking bad anyway. You know, when people have that many surgeries and they have it from desperation, it never looks better, in my opinion. Anyway, I've never seen anyone look better when they've gone like OTT with putting stuff in their face. Maybe like a little bit if people want to do it here and there. But when people go full on with it, there's always a point where it slides over the edge and it just looks bad. And that comes from desperation. It comes from that real fear that you're losing your looks, that real fear that you're losing your youth. And you put in so much emphasis on that you've probably actually bypassed all these other things that you could be actually way better in and much more attractive in, and become bitter and desperate and not really done that emotional work. Because when you do that self-love work and that emotional work, you no longer even really care for that stuff so much anymore. You might still want to do it and enjoy youthifying yourself and, you know, enjoy looking after yourself and caring for your body like a temple, you know, but you're not going to desperately be clinging to it. You're going to be okay if there's like a couple of wrinkles or a couple of lines. It's not gonna bring you into a chaotic mess, you know. And it's those very things that people try to kind of hold on to that can end up making them really rather unattractive, actually, compared to somebody that has spent that time and energy really just improving in all the areas that you can. You can't hold on to things, you know. You can just you either focus on what you're losing or you focus on what you're gaining. And if you focus on what you're gaining, you're going to be more attractive. And it's the same with everything really. Like, because I had a lot of health problems, I've been really obsessive with my diet since I was very young. And I think the reason that I found it so easy to eat really, really amazingly well and not eat really any bad food is because, or what we would consider bad food, I've never eaten junk food. I've never ordered a takeaway in my life, I don't think. The reason I've been so successful, I think, is because I've never felt I'm losing anything. I've never ever felt, oh my God, it's so sad, I can't eat that. And sometimes I've talked to other people and they'll say things to me like, oh, it's great that you live like that, but there's no way I could do it. I just feel like I was missing out on so much. But I have never in my life felt like that. I always feel like I'm gaining. I always feel like I'm gaining health and I'm gaining energy. I've always seen it in what am I gaining from eating so pure. I've never ever felt like I'm missing out on anything, you know, because I don't focus on the thing that I'm losing, like, oh, I can't eat sugar anymore, I don't eat wheat anymore, whatever. I've always thought, wow, I'm gaining health when I eat this food, and it actually makes me enjoy the food more. And after a bit of time, you find that your taste buds change. And to me, sugar now tastes horrendous. I don't like the taste of cane sugar. I couldn't stand junk food. None of this food is even something I feel I'm missing out on. But I think my initial success with things like this was focusing on all the things that I'm benefiting from that lifestyle, rather than, oh, I can't eat cake anymore, boo-hoo, you know. And I also focus on how I can integrate those things, you know. I'm like, oh, I can eat raw cakes now, and I get excited about trying recipes of healthy cakes that I can make and trying to make them taste better and better. And that to me is exciting and interesting, and I don't miss not having traditional cakes anymore, for example. Like, it's no loss in my life, but I think that's because I tend to focus on all the things that I'm gaining. And I honestly think we could apply this to life in general. You know, as we get older, don't focus on what you're losing, focus on what you're gaining, and it's going to be a whole mind shift, and it's going to honestly make you so much more attractive. I feel like I'm one of the best people to talk about this because I used to be a model, and although I never liked myself, I always thought I was like fat or ugly or too old looking. Like even when I was super, super young, a size 6 to 8 or whatever, I'm really skinny. I just always felt never good enough. And I just, I couldn't get good connections. I couldn't get connections to work out because they reflected my inner state way more than my outer state. I don't have the same problems anymore. And maybe I'm a bit older, maybe I'm not as attractive looking as then, but because I've worked on so many other aspects of myself, I'm actually just more attractive as a whole being, and men always want to stick around now. I don't have the same problems I had when I was much younger and supposedly by society standard more attractive, because I had an unattractive energy. Your looks only make up for so much. They make, after a month or 3 months, it's going to wear off, and it's your energy that's attractive. Whatever people say, they might say other things, but especially if you're looking for a proper deep spiritual connection, no one is going to be as focused on the outer. They're going to want that inner spiritual bond and that inner spiritual connection, and you kind of get that, and you get it to stick when you've evolved your spirituality and you're in harmony with your spirituality, and you accept yourself and honor yourself and love yourself. If you just get older and you just get more bitter and more broken, and yet you have all this plastic surgery, that is not going to be helpful, not in my opinion anyways. Like, what is going to be helpful is that you are just going to be a shining, radiant light that is emotionally stable, spiritually evolved, you're successful, you're intelligent, you're passionate. These things make up for a lot. Think about it. If you meet a man and he's older, but he's like super intelligent, super successful, takes great care of himself, he's emotionally and spiritually evolved, he's going to be way more attractive than the guy 2 decades younger that's just, not taking care of his body, he's not taking care of his mind, he still gets triggered as if he's a 20-year-old. It's just, there's so many things that we can add to our life. Let's stop focusing on what we're losing and start focusing on what we can add and what we can gain as we move through life. So hope that what do you all think? Do you all agree? And speak soon. Bye.